Hey guys, it's Shroud again, and we are continuing to run the gauntlet of classic draft formats. This time we are drafting Time Spiral Block, which I'm pretty excited about. Time Spiral Block was probably my favorite draft format that Wizards has ever done. So I'm pretty anxious to get started. The opening pack that we're working with here is not especially exciting. Neither the time shifted card nor the rare is limited playable. And as far as the rest of the pack goes, Dusk Rider Peregrine, I think it's probably the standout card. There's really not much else that stands up to it. Ludorocore, I think, is probably the next best card. Um, you could maybe make an argument for Grape Shot, but I think that's kind of a stretch. I'm gonna stick with the suspend threat. There are quite a few of these cheap suspend creatures in Time Spiral. They're pretty much all nuts. Keldon Halberdier, I think, is maybe the worst of them, or Ivory Giant. But both those cards are good too. But they are no Dusk Rider Peregrine. This is an extremely efficient threat. Next up we have plenty more white cards. Pretty good white cards too. Both of these are rebels, so if we get a rebel searcher in the first or the second pack, we could fish those up. Outrider Encore is very very powerful. The Encore ability is just obnoxious to play against, and it's definitely an ability you're really happy to have on a flanking threat like this. This guy is really really difficult to get off the table. So he's better than Amber Seekers. Probably better than Momentary Blink. Momentary Blink has lost a lot of value now that you can't stack damage. So if we were going to continue down the white path, Outrider Encore would be the way to go. And there's not really anything particularly calling our name otherwise. There's Dark Withering, which Black White's a reasonable archetype because you get rebels in both colors in the full block. But I'm just going to stick with white right now and see where that takes me. And we get paid off. Ooh, we kind of doubly get paid off. Castle Raptors is a great creature. 3/3 flyers for 5. In the olden days of drafting, 3/3 flyer for 5 was just the best deal in the world, and you just got super excited about it. Some of the more recent draft formats, creature qualities have kind of increased over time to the point where the 3/3 flyer for 5 isn't as exciting as it used to be. This is not one of those blocks. Castle Raptors is just incredibly efficient. But that said, we're on theme here, and we've still got, we've led with 2 white creatures so far, and we can pick this guy up and kind of force a theme deck, I guess. I love me a Castle Raptors, but I'm not gonna turn down the chance to pick up Celestial Crusader. This guy has flash, so he, in addition to being a lord, is also a combat trick. You really can't go wrong with him. Wow, okay. Trump the Domains followed up. Well, we are... Oh, wait, and an Evangelize. Huh. Wow, alright. First really big decision of the draft, I guess. We're mono white so far, and I don't have any real intention of staying that way. We'll diversify at some point. Trump the Domains would kind of like me to be even playing a third color. I love green a lot in this set. In this whole block, it's probably the deepest color in the block. So I'm certainly happy to move into green, and in fact, a 4th pick Overrun, which is basically what Trump the Domains is a great signal for green. So I think I'm going to take that. Evangelize is powerful. And if the game goes super long, it can really take over, but it is pretty slow and sometimes gets it doesn't really accomplish what you need it to. It is definitely on the wrong end of Sprout Swarm, for example. So I'll let it slide and take the green signal. And the green signal does continue. There are quite a couple of really strong, efficient green threats. Spike Feeder is a good, efficient guy. Actually, all 3 of these guys are efficient and kind of have built-in card advantage to a degree. This guy, most of all, he basically just replaces himself and is a solid body. He's a giant spider, and then you kill him, and he's a giant spider again. Which there are a lot of decks that you play this guy, and you can just hear them groan, even through the Moto screen. So I think this guy is going to be the pick. Thal Germinator is also good, but he doesn't hold a candle to Penumbra Spider. And wow, there continue to be actually a lot of good options. This is exciting. Errant Doomsayers, again, it's a rebel. We don't have so far we just have Outriders and Gore, and this pack, the first pack, is the only chance we get to pick up a white Rebel Surger. If we were going into white-black, we might put a higher premium on Rebels. But in this case, that ability isn't, that creature type isn't as important as basically just picking on power level and strength in numbers. I think is probably the best card for green-white in the pack, so we'll go with that. It's a really late Empty the Warrens, but that ship has kind of sailed for us. So we're looking at Angel's Grace, which is not exactly. It probably is not a card you would ever main deck, but it has its sideboard uses. The card quality in this pack has kind of fallen off, so we're basically looking for sideboard cards at this point. Let's see, Thallid Shelldweller. There are in Future Sight. There's one of the better green commons is a Thallid Token Maker. This guy's kind of on theme with that, and I could kind of see us needing this out of the board. So I'm gonna scoop him up. And Gustcloak Cavalier. He's okay. He's pricey for what he is, but I don't know if he's better than Ashcoat Bear. I kind of think he is. We're sorted by curve already, and we so far don't actually have a 2-drop. This doesn't count. I don't expect this guy card to make our main deck, so I'm going to take the aggressive option. This card's obviously more powerful, but I think we're going to want to focus really heavily on our curve down the stretch here. The green-white style of play in this format tends to be very aggressive. So, and we'll just take the remaining playable card. This card is sweet. It's a little pricey, but definitely in the late game, it's just impossible to kill. That's actually kind of a theme in green-white. You'll kind of see that. So far, we've got a protection from black creature that replaces itself, creature that flickers, the creature with the end core ability. The creatures in green-white in this block tend to be very resilient. Here we're looking choices between Search for Tomorrow and Ashcoat Bear. I'm gonna go with the Search for Tomorrow. We started out with 3 white cards, but we've kind of diversified a little with the mana base. We have a double green card. We have Trompe the Domains, which wants actually a 3rd color if possible. So the Search for Tomorrow enables that if we get a sweet card we want to splash, and kind of fixes the mana to make sure we hit our double white spells and that kind of thing. Ashcoat Bear's fine, but we'll have more shots at 2-drops down the stretch. Here we're just going to pick a sideboard card, and Molder is a very good sideboard card. And I guess we're going to pick another one. The Spinneret Sliver and Sinew Sliver are pretty aggressive, but we don't have any of those yet. And in general, the Sliver deck kind of wants to be multicolored. This card's not that important. I'm just going to take another Molder. Could be Clutch out of the board as a 2-off. We'll hate the playable. Sure. Really? Someone took a land over an Aether Flame Wall. No respect the Aether Flame Wall gets. Alright. Not a whole lot for us. The choice is between Malak of Dawn and Giant Dust Wasp. We're getting a good flyer for our deck either way. Malak the Dawn is the white ghost ship. Um, Triple white is a lot to regenerate it, so it's basically just a 2/4 with kind of an upside if the game goes long. Um, you can do worse than a fighting Drake. Suspend cards, of course. I was talking about curve earlier and how we could pass an Ash Code Bear and we could fill it out with 2-drops. We actually already have. I said we didn't have any other 2-drops. We have Duskrider Peregrine already, and this is another 2-drop. That's one of the funny things about this format. When you sort your stack so far by cost, you don't see your real mana curve most of the time. Malak the Dawn is more powerful, I think, but again, we're going to want to pick on curve where the decisions are close. I'm going to go with the Giant Dustwasp. This is a close pick, but I'm gonna err on the side of aggression here. Wild Pair. Well, that's fancy. Anything cool we can do with that? Let's see. So Dustwasp goes and gets Peregrine or Penumbra Spider. Crusader goes and gets Flickering Spirit. Yeah, that's cute. I'm not inclined to dabble in it. This effect can be very powerful, but we're gonna try again and aim for aggression and redundancy here. The pick out of this pack for us, I think, is just the second to drop the another suspend threat. We have 3 chances now to make a suspend drop on turn 2 that's going to spit out a 3/3 flyer and still allow us to cast another spell on turn 5 or 6. So that's very promising. There was a White Mane Lion in this pack and in the last pack. White Mane Lion is pretty good. It again, like Momentary Blink, you can't stack damage anymore, so it's kind of lost a little value. Hopefully we'll lap the one we opened, but it's not in the same league as Giant Dustwasp. Not a lot for us here. Oh wait, sorry, I did not see this guy. This guy's sweet, and is a pretty clear pick here. Mireboa, once again, all green white in this format tends to have very resilient creatures that are hard to get off the board. Mireboa fits that to a T. He's also a 2-drop. We love pretty much everything about Mireboa in this archetype. The only other card that we would be considering would be Utopia Vow, which is fine. It's removal and has a drawback. The drawback is sometimes annoying, sometimes basically non-existent. It really just kind of depends. But I think we want to build a stack of good, aggressive, resilient creatures. And Utopia Vows, people tend to disrespect this card. They I think kind of they see the drawback and they think it's probably going to be more of a problem than it really is. These tend to go later, so we'll snap up the Mireboa here. Could now be time for the White Mane Lion. This is, I think, just a 3/3 flyer for 5, which is a great deal. I think this is probably better than White Mane Lion. So it's got the Meddling Mage ability and the Pithing Needle ability. Those are just kind of weird bonuses. They're just gravy on a good body. So that may be relevant. Mostly we're just looking at another 3/3 flyer, which is sweet. Ooh, there's a Stonecloaker as well. Wow, this pack is actually pretty deep for us. This is close. Stonecloaker needs another guy in play before he can be of best use. We don't really have any way to abuse him, like a way to get value out of bouncing anything. I'm just going to take the rare. I think that a more stable 3/3 flyer, one that we can always play no matter the board, is probably more valuable than the situational 3-drop. The choice now between a second Mireboa and a Salt-Filled Recluse. Mireboa is sweet. I love me a Mireboa. We don't currently have any way to kind of gum up the works if the board stalls and kind of starts to get complicated. Salt-Filled Recluse is great. He really makes combat math difficult, and usually if you have an active Salt-Filled Recluse and there is any kind of creature stall, your opponent just does not have profitable attacks and usually just doesn't have profitable blocks either. Sawfield Recluse might actually just be straight up better than Mireboa. Given that we already have a Mireboa, I think it's an easy pick here. Wow. Okay. We get to make this choice again, I guess. Now we have one of each, so that kind of makes things complicated. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hide these. We'll hide this as well. Not important. I am going to take... Wow, I have no idea. Our deck wants both of them, that's for sure. I guess we actually have like 5 2-drops at this point. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Sawfield Recluse. Yeah, wow, a Blight Speaker. Well, if we had gone down that route, we have, I guess, 3 Rebels at this point. But for our green-white deck, we have still quite a few good options. Hedge Troll is obviously a sweet guy. He's a Hedge Troll, but for green-white. And he's very powerful. It kind of makes sense that he would show up this late since we're probably the only one at the table that wants him. And I'm pretty sure he's just head and shoulders better than... Head and shoulders above Mana Tithe and Shade of Trocare here, so we'll snap him up. Another giant Dust Wasp. Sure. Wow, we have so many 3/3 flyers. It's a high class problem. I'm okay with this many 3/3 flyers. Evolution Charm is kind of cool. It's a fixer. It regenerates a creature, so it's kind of a weak combat trick and slightly expensive fixer. We look pretty good on mana. And we are happy to jam as many 3/3 flyers as possible. So we don't desperately need this Evolution Charm. So we'll gladly take the giant man. That's a good thing that we didn't desperately need that one because we got one anyway. We did table the White Mane Lion as planned. So now the decision is we still don't have anything to abuse with this White Mane Lion. We don't have any like comes into play effects or anything cool to do with it really. It's still fine just for kind of getting your guys out of jams. If this one tabled, there was actually one in the next pack as well. So we can take the Evolution Charm here, and then we'll take White Mane Lion right now. Oh man, wow! Well, that blew up in my face. It was really not that big a deal. I guess we just take the. I don't even remember what all the options on Dawn Charm are. So it's like a fog, this regenerates target creature. What does this do? Regrows a creature? Wow, okay. My memory has failed me. Okay, well, sure. That seems fair. Utopia Vow tabled. That's cool. We didn't actually have a proper removal spell. We were mostly just planning to get by on aggression, but that's okay. We do have a pacifism now. If someone slams Giant Bomb, that just kind of shuts us down. We got a Dredge Skeleton, a Sinbad. None of these cards particularly valuable to us. We already have the 05 wall if we really need to hold the ground. This card's okay. I don't think we'll main deck it, and I don't know under what circumstances we would ever board it in, but yeah, that cost $1 million, so sure, we got us some Sinbads. Essence Warden. Essence Warden's actually pretty good. Surprised to see it go that late. It's particularly useful if we hit a Sprout Swarm, which is probably the hope. I'd like to see a Tarmogoyf going into pack 3, obviously, but failing Tarmogoyf, probably the card I most want to see is Sprout Swarm. And we hit neither of those. But that's okay. Huh. We didn't hit much of anything, come to that. This guy is a Sea Snid. With a, I don't know, kind of a cool ability. I can't remember the name of the card from Onslaught, like Dauntless Defender or something like that. Basically just a Sliver Dauntless Defender, which is nowhere near where you want to be with your first overall pick in a a set that's as powerful as Future Sight. Um, we don't need Edge of Autumn. We've got plenty of fixing that we don't even need. Actually, I guess with that much fixing, we should probably just be looking to see what we're going to splash here. Fatal Attraction is its removal, and it's probably the most powerful card in the pack. So yeah, I guess that's what we're taking. I don't know that we'll play it. I don't really see the need. It does give us a third color for Drop the Domains, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think it's sort of a hate draft, sort of a potential we might splash it kind of thing. I don't know. Not excited about Fatal Attraction, but that pack was just awful. Well, we could take another 3/3 flyer for 5. We only have like 7 of those already. But like I said, that's a high class problem. You can generally never have enough of these things. This is the best card in the pack for us. Just in general, in a vacuum, in terms of overall power level. The next best card would be Llanowar Empath, I believe. Which is that worth taking over Lucent Limited? We have 3 solid playables in the 4-drop spot on the curve already, so it's not a complete disaster curve-wise by any means. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the flyer. Let's just slam the blimps. Another one. We actually have removal in this pack as well, so that's a pretty easy pick. This card's fine, obviously, but we have plenty of this effect. Bound in Silence, basically just a pacifism for 3, which is great. These cards are also sweet. Hopefully, considering the cards that lapped for us in pack 2, I think it's likely that we'll actually see at least one of these cards back. I'm hoping the Knight of Circe. Knight of Circe, I think, is actually better than Whipspine Drake anyway. It's a 1-drop that is actually good going late. So, and Aven Augur is a huge tempo play as well. What actually? Wow, I got really confused. For some reason, I thought we were playing blue when I Whipspine Drake kind of. I saw that and shifted into blue-white mode. We're actually considering Sporoloth Ancient instead of Aven Augur. But again, we're not really considering it. The pacifism is the pick for our deck, which currently only has 1 real removal spell. Knight of Circe. There we go. It's a 1-drop. It's a beater. It's a flyer. The other options are Imperiosaur, who in a draft deck is basically just a 4/4 or a 5/5 for 4 rather. And he's a sweet one, but we want to put a premium on flyers and on 1-drops. I think Knight of Circe is the pick. Remotion Revivalist is kind of cool. It can return our pacifism, our Bound in Silence. It can return our Saltfield Recluses to play, but it's pretty expensive to use. So I'm gonna go with the Knight of Circe. Both of these cards would be sweet. We might table one of them. At this stage in the pack we probably won't, but yeah, I think Knight of Circe is where we want to be here. We basically have a deck already, so we're really just kind of looking to fill holes at this point. Cabby Primarch is a sweet guy. This is a sorcery. Yeah, Cyclic Evolution does me no good. Pact to the Titan, that's fancy. Yeah, Cabby Primarch is the only card for us. There's not really much of a decision here. We'll tag it. I'm going to go ahead and clear out some cards that I don't expect us to actually play. I think with Bound in Silence, we now have two solid removal spells, so I don't think we actually need to make the splash there. We're not going to play these Fadia. We're not going to play these Sinbads. And so that puts us at 22. So this actually does officially make it a deck. I think we'll play we would be happy to play every single card here. So we would also be happy to add another sweet 2-drop. Centaur Omen Reader is it's a powerful effect. Occasionally, you'll have these games where like you play this guy on turn 4 and then you attack and you attack and it doesn't die, and then you can suddenly slam like 3/3 fire, 3/3 flyer, or 2-drop or something like that. But that's kind of living the dream. I think we're just gonna want a 3/1 for 2. And Search for Tomorrow is 1. We may not even actually want the Search for Tomorrow, so that could be the next cut. 19 creatures is a ton of creatures too. We don't actually necessarily need that many creatures, so we could just cut our worst guy. I'm not even sure who our worst guy is. I don't want to. Ashko Bears is the least powerful guy, but I don't want to cut our 2-drop. Land Limp Sliver. Again, pretty weak. Big Dauntless Defender Sliver. Scry 1 land might actually be the pick here. Just none of these. We won't play any of these cards. Honestly, we probably won't play New Benalia either, but it's the most likely to make the cut. I guess we could just hate a removal spell. That's like a weird standstill Doomblade. We'll take the land. Might actually see play. Salt Skidder. Honestly, we're not going to play Salt Skidder either, but I always like Salt Skidder. Salt Skidder's kind of weird. It's honestly it ends up being a 3/3 with Vigilance more often than it's like a 3/3 that can't block. But its ability kind of rides the line. It can be one or the other depending on the situation. He's totally playable, and if this draft hadn't been going as well as I kind of feel like it's already going, we would be pretty pumped to see him show up here. But in this case, I don't know that we necessarily even have a need for a Hill Giant. Yeah, we're not going to play this Edge of Autumn. I think it's just rare drafting time. So I think it was our 3rd pick in Future Science that was really deep and had the Bound in Silence, the Sporoloth Ancient, the two white flyers. So hopefully that's not this one, but the next pack. We'll see if we tabled something sweet there. Nothing for us here. More rare draftery. Where'd that card go? Get out of my stack. And doesn't look like we got anything back. I guess it's time to start taking the Limp Slivers. We've seen so many of this. So the curve actually, it honestly looks fine even just laid out like this, but when you consider that the Peregrine and all 3 of the Dustswaps are also 2-drops, I'm pretty excited about this deck. I definitely like where it's going. Yeah, sure. This guy's big. All right. Really pleased with it, and we're actually pretty much already got the deck built, so I'll skip the deck building section here. Basically, I just have to pick a card that I'm going to cut, and I will see you guys in round 1.